In this video, we're going to be looking at writing fractions in lowest terms. In my day, we called this reducing fractions. Maybe you remember it as simplifying fractions, but the idea being that if I had 6/8, how could I reduce that or write it in lower terms? So many of you probably recognize this as that both are divisible by 2, so I would get 3/4. Okay, so when I say that I want to write a fraction in lowest terms, what I want to do is do this reducing or simplifying. Okay, so if I had something like 12/15, okay, and I wanted to reduce that, I would reduce this by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, now, this is all good and great, but your students are going to be like, how'd you know 2? How'd you know 3? Okay, so the numbers that I'm dividing by are called the greatest common factor, which is also called the GCF. Okay, so the greatest common factor is referring to the largest number that both have as a factor. Okay, so let's talk about factors. So if I wanted to find, for example, the GCF of 6 and 8. Okay, so I want to know what is the GCF of 6 and 8. What I'm asking is, I want you to list all the pairs of numbers that multiply to 6, and I want you to list all the pairs of numbers that multiply to 8. So 6 is 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. 8 is 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. So what we're asking is, what is the biggest number that's on both lists? So 1's on both lists and 2's on both lists, but that's it. That's the only numbers. And so the bigger one is 2. So here the GCF is 2. All right. So once we find the GCF of 2 numbers, then we can do this. Okay. So let's go ahead and practice a harder one. Or, we can honestly do 12 and 15. So let's see or show how the GCF of 12 and 15 is 3. So all pairs of numbers that multiply to 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and that's it. For 15, it's 1 and 15, 3 and 5. That's it. So if I look at these lists, 1's on both lists, 3's on both lists. But which one's bigger? 3. So the GCF of 12 and 15 is 3. All right, so let's do a problem from start to finish. If we had something like, I don't know, how about 15/25? And I want to reduce this, okay? So I'm saying I need to have the GCF of 15 and 25. So I'm sure a lot of you are like, it's 5, Jen. I know, but think about your students here. 15 is 1 and 15, 3 and 5. 25 is 1 and 25, and 5 and 5. So what's the biggest number on both lists? That's right, 5. So what I can do now is come up here, divide by 5, and get the reduced fraction or lowest terms fraction of 3/5. All right, good luck with your homework problems involving GCF and writing in lowest terms.